Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, who would have seen this one coming? It seems as though the Democrats have finally come to terms with reality, at least on one specific issue. You know, all the hopium and all the copium, the Democrats are going to turn Texas blue, the Democrats stand a chance in Florida. Well, no longer is that the case. It seems as though Democrats finally came to their senses, and they have given up on the state of Florida. Folks, the great sunshine state, the great state of Florida, is becoming a bastion of freedom. You know, there's a reason I always call it the great state of Florida. I never say the great state of New York or the great state of California. But when talking about places like Texas, when talking about places like Florida and a couple others, it's just the right thing to do. And the proof is right there, friends. The state of Florida has become so great that Democrat strategists and Democrat campaign money is leaving. They have given up. It's gone the direction of Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. It's gone totally red. It's seemingly out of their grasp entirely, and even Democrats are now accepting that fact. They played a little bit too close to the fire of socialism, and they got burned as Cuban and Venezuelan voters told them to take a hike. It's going to have lasting impacts here, folks. The GOP, thanks to Ron DeSantis, have made some incredible moves, and the state of Florida is going to continue to pay dividends for years to come. Let's talk about it. Let me show you guys this report. So like usual, let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so we got this piece right over here from the Daily Wire. Democrats signal Florida is lost after DeSantis' meteoric rise. It's over, and it's going to be ugly. Florida Democrats are waving the white flag just 2 weeks before the November 8th midterm elections. Numerous indicators in a new report from Politico show that Democrats no longer believe that Florida is a state where they can be competitive after Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has transformed the state from a right-leaning purple swing state to a red stronghold in only a few years. Politico's report highlighted the following red flag for Democrats. The Democratic Governors Association just spent $685,000 this election cycle. It gave $14 million to Florida in the past two governor races. Big outside donor money has completely dried up. New York billionaire Michael Bloomberg only contributed $1.5 million to Democrats this cycle. He vowed $100 million to Florida in 2020. Polling shows Republicans making headway in Miami-Dade County, which has long been a blue stronghold, and Democrats have collectively raised $29 million in the four non-federal statewide races. Republicans have raised nearly $200 million, almost a 10x. All right, well, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, not really almost a 10x, more like a 6.5x or something like that. But anyways, not even close is basically the point. Democrats have completely lost hope in the state of Florida. It started with Hillary Clinton's loss in 2016. I mean, we all remember that moment with Cenk Uygur watching TYT on that fateful night. I remember like it was yesterday, as clear as day.
Florida, 76 plus early voting, reporting 49-48, holding steady for Trump.
The lead in North Carolina has essentially completely evaporated.
It's gone. Sometimes I could barely hear you guys because in my head it's like, she's losing, Virginia needs Florida, right? And God damn it, if we need Florida, are you more bad news?
Florida was a state that Hillary Clinton was banking on winning, and Democrats thought they had a great chance to win Florida. But in the end, Miami-Dade swung to the right, and it continues to swing towards the right. And now the voter registration numbers are clear as day, folks. Democrats no longer stand a chance in the state of Florida. And it's gone from them spending hundreds of millions of dollars to win the state to the Democrat election coffers and fundraising efforts totally drying up this election cycle. There is no more money. Dems aren't even trying to put up a fight in the state. They have given up. But let's continue reading the article. DeSantis won the state in 2018 against a now criminally charged Democrat, Andrew Gillum, who is facing 21 felony counts by less than half a percentage point. Former President Donald Trump won the state in 2016 by 1.2 points and won the state in 2020 by 3.3. Polls now show DeSantis dominating against Democrat gubernatorial candidate Charlie Crist in this year's election by a whopping 14 points. DeSantis leading Crist by 14 points in Florida governor race, says this survey from The Hill. And of course, we covered a couple days ago that Andrew Gillum's chief political strategist or campaign strategist, if I'm not mistaken, left the campaign with only a couple weeks left ahead of election day. It's not looking good, but let's get back to the article. The report further noted that the voter registration advantage that Democrats had has completely dried up as they now trail Republicans by more than 300,000. I mean, we stopped covering the voter registration advantage that Republicans had gained since 2011, overcoming a near 600,000 deficit to Democrats. I think the last number we were looking at was maybe 180,000 if I'm not mistaken. It's already ballooned up to 300,000. There are 300K more registered Republicans in Florida than there are Democrats. That is unprecedented. You cannot win an election as a Democrat, at least a statewide election, in a state that has that many more Republicans than Democrats. It's not possible, especially after all the election integrity bills that Ron DeSantis has signed on to. Not a chance, not gonna happen. Matthew Van Name, a long-time Democrat consultant who attended a recent event in deep blue Miami-Dade, noted that only a few dozen people showed up, leading him to say that 2022 is one of the most uncomfortable and segmented cycles I've seen. The report highlighted how DeSantis has become a dominant national political figure who has raised more money for his political operation than all other potential 2024 candidates. According to one recent survey, DeSantis also has the highest net approval rating of any major US politician. And that's absolutely true. We've covered that as well. Ron DeSantis is competing with Donald Trump in terms of the actual grassroots fundraising that he's collected. He also refuses to say whether he's going to run in 2024, but the simple fact of the matter is, and this is why I hate the whole Trump versus DeSantis narrative, they're both rock stars. I don't think people should be dividing themselves. And if Donald Trump decided not to run and Ron DeSantis took over, I mean, good luck, Democrats. He's got over $100 million in the election coffers, if I'm not mistaken, and he is the most popular politician in the entire country. In terms of his approval rating, I mean, that's just a fact. Not to mention the state of Florida, which is 29 electoral votes, he is guaranteed to win. I mean, it's not even going to be close, meaning this traditional purple swing state is 29 points guaranteed in that right-wing column. Look at all the polling data, folks. Donald Trump is winning in the state of Florida against most Democrat contenders. Ron DeSantis isn't just winning, he's clobbering any opponent, any Democrat opponent in that state by double digits. And even Democrat political analysts know this. Take a look at this quote. I think Ron DeSantis will win Miami-Dade County. Left-wing historically blue Miami-Dade County, I might add, said Ross Evans, or Evan Ross rather, a longtime South Florida-based Democratic consultant. Democratic voters are not all excited or motivated by Charlie's campaign. Right now, I think it will be close, but I think DeSantis beats Crist here. The only thing that might give Charlie Crist the chance of becoming governor would be DeSantis aggressively campaigning for him over the next 2 weeks, Ross said. Translation, it's over, and it's going to be ugly. And so there you have it, folks. The state of Florida is a Republican stronghold, no longer a swing state. Democrat money has dried up. Democrats are fleeing. They don't want anything to do with the races. The idea that Val Demings stands a chance, not gonna happen. Charlie Crist is a nobody. Democrats know it, and Democrats are fleeing. Good. You've spent nearly 4 years talking about how dangerous Ron DeSantis is and how terrible and fascist right-wing Florida is. I mean, take a look at Joy Reid just the other day on her show.
In tonight with Florida, which I would argue, even with Texas existing, has emerged as the modern state in this country that comes the closest to a modern-day version of Jim Crow. Now, just hear me out. If there is a state that better exemplifies the rot of MAGA Republican rule than the state of Florida that the governor has named in very Orwellian fashion the free state of Florida, I honestly don't know where it is, don't know what it is. I mean, Florida has it all. A law banning gay people from declaring their existence at school. Teachers can actually get fired for it. A law against anti-racist policies at work, like you have to let the racism be in the workplace or else. Book bans and requirements for patriotic Christian education propaganda in public schools. And of course, a concerted effort to make it as hard as possible for anyone who might vote for the out-of-power party, the Democrats, hashtag black people, to vote or to have representative districts. Florida's Jim Crow Redux governor, Ron DeSantis, even has his own Office of Election Crimes.
Florida is apparently the new Jim Crow, like we haven't heard that talking point before. Well, if that's the case, Democrats, if it's such a terrible, evil, fascist place, well then you should probably leave and never come back, just like you currently are. Go away. I'm sure Florida residents won't have an issue with that in the slightest. And thankfully, that seems to be exactly what's happening. Not only are Democrat voters leaving and conservative-minded, Constitution-loving, patriotic conservative Americans moving in, but the Democrat politicians, the Democrat money, the Democrat donors are also leaving. They're nowhere to be seen, and that's why we call it the great state of Florida. That's what I got for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, friends, and I will see you on the next one.